Assalamu alaikum, everyone. We are really honored to have with us today the world-renowned Qariya Hawra Yasin. Can we please welcome her with a salawat?
صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وإذ قال إبراهيم لأبيه آزر أتتخذ أصناما آلهة إني أراك وقومك في ضلال مبين. وكذلك نري إبراهيم ملكوت السماوات والأرض وليكون من الموقنين. فلما جن عليه الليل رأى كوكبا فلما جن عليه الليل فلما رأى القمر بازغا قال هذا ربي فلما أفل قال لئن لم يهدني ربي لأكونن من القوم الضالين. فلما رأى الشمس بازغة قال هذا ربي هذا أكبر. فلما رأى الشمس بازغة قال هذا ربي هذا أكبر. فلما أفلت قال يا قوم إني بريء مما تشركون. إني وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا وما أنا من المشركين. إني وجهت وجهي للذي فطر السماوات والأرض حنيفا وما أنا من المشركين. وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وحاجه قومه قال أتحاجوني في الله وقد هدان ولا أخاف ما تشركون به إلا أن يشاء ربي شيئا وسع ربي كل شيء علما أفلا تتذكرون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون أياما معدودات فمن كان منكم مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر وعلى الذين يطيقونه فدية طعام مسكين فمن تطوع خيرا فهو خير له وإن تصوموا خير لكم إن كنتم تعلمون شهر رمضان شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه ومن كان مريضا أو على سفر فعدة من أيام أخر يريد الله بكم اليسر ولا يريد بكم العسر ولتكملوا العدة ولتكبروا الله على ما هداكم ولعلكم تشكرون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمد ربك واستغفره إنه كان توابا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. اللهم صل وسلم وزد وبارك على رسول الله وآله الأطهار على رسول الله وآله الأطهار.
Thank you so much, Claudia, for your beautiful recitation. We really appreciate you traveling to Birmingham to be with us today. As always, before the program, just a few housekeeping rules. Just a reminder that no food and drink is allowed in the chapel apart from water. We kindly request everyone to maintain silence so as to not disturb the speaker and also the audience. The conference room will be available for young children if they need to be fed or if they're getting noisy and restless. And also, if kids can please stay with their parent or guardian during the program, then we'll really appreciate that. If I could now please call Dr. Bilqis Khawaja to share her Quranic reflections with us. If we can recite a salawat to welcome her, please.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين خاتم النبيين أبو القاسم مصطفى محمد وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المظلومين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I seek help with the name of Allah, Al-Ilah, the one who bewilders the rational mind due to the intensity of his beauty, the deity worthy of worship, love, and obedience. Ar-Rahman, the extremely, vastly, and intensely merciful, loving and caring. Ar-Rahim, the especially and continuously merciful, loving, and caring. Tonight, brothers and sisters, I just want a few minutes with this ayah, the ayah of Surah Al-A'raf, ayah number 172, not as a lecture, not as someone who has everything together, but as someone held, as a humble servant, as a heart reflection. This is the ayah famously known as the ayah of the covenant, Alastu bi Rabbikum, which is a phrase, and it's part of the ayah, the 172 of the Holy Quran. The covenant to Allah. And remember, when your Lord Rabb brought forth from the children of Adam, from their loins, their descendants, and made them testify to themselves, saying, "Am I not your Rabb?" They said, "Yes, we testify." In case you should say on the day of resurrection, "Verily, we have been unaware of this." This ayah tells me something profound, that I am not random, I am not ownerless. I belong to Allah. He is my Rabb. The word Rabb appears 980 times in the Holy Quran, comes from the root letters Rababa, and is the same Rabb that is mentioned in the ayah when we do dua for our parents. Rabbirhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. My Lord, sustainer, nurturer, the one with rightful authority over me. Rabb means He created me, He sustains me, He owns my life and my return. He has the right to be obeyed, loved, and worshipped. When he asked the question, am I not your Rabb? He was really asking, isn't your deepest reality that you are mine, that you belong to me? There is an original, and what did we reply? Yes, of course, we testify. We are a witness. Qalu bala shahidna. So it wasn't only Dr. Shahid who said yes, we all said yes. His name is Shahid. So there is an original yes, we are all shahids. Yeah. Why our heart never feels satisfied here in this world is because there's a longing that we chase beauty in this world, in belongings, in people, in comfort, in status, in experiences. And for a moment it sparkles, but it never fully fills our heart because dunya is temporary. In fact, it's one of the lowest, lowest realms. This covenant was taken from us before we came into this world, before our souls were united with our bodies in alam al-arwah. Some Mufassirin say that it was a metaphysical event, whereas others say that it is pointing to an inner compass, an inner fitra within us. Allah is the Rabb who holds my life, the one who holds my life. Where is my yes? So the reflection I have is, where is my yes? The yes I said, ages ago. Staying true to my bala, to my yes, is not about intensity or perfection. It is about consistency and sincerity. I start with belonging, not with performance. I do not stay true by proving myself, but by remembering that I belong to Allah before I achieve anything. Obedience rooted in fear is exhausting. Obedience rooted in love is softening. I return to you, Allah. Guide me where I'm confused. Forgive me and keep me close. I surrender. Surrender is not weakness. It is alignment. It is power. Allah has planted devotion within us. Our longing to surrender is already His mercy pulling us. Right now, I'm carrying a lot. I suppose many people are carrying a lot. For a long time, I tried to carry it in my own strength, as if needing help meant failing. But this ayah reminds me gently, I already said yes. There is nothing to worry about. Not because I was strong, but because I belong. So my bala today is quiet. Ya Allah, I need you. Even if my return is slow and imperfect, it still is a return. Grief has softened too. Maybe we have not truly lost those we love. They have found their Rabb. They have gone to the place every soul ultimately longs for. This world never fully feels like home because it isn't. The soul remembers and will not rest until it returns to the one it first said yes to. I'm not here claiming I have mastered anything. I just wanted to share an ayah that feels like a rope back to Allah. If I'm tired, if I feel far, if I am trying, this verse is proof the door is open. May Allah make our bala, all of our bala, sincere and our return back to Him easy. Ameen. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those thought-provoking reflections. Before we start the talk, can I please ask everyone to move forward because Shaykh doesn't like being all by himself all the way over there. So if we can keep him company and all move forward. I'm gonna wait here until I have someone like here. Okay. And can I now invite Shaykh Mohamed Yasin Devji to deliver his final talk in his Rajab to Ramadan series.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على جميع الأنبياء والمرسلين لا سيما خاتمهم وأفضلهم محمد مصطفى صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم وعلى أهل بيت الطهارة لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين الحجة ابن الحسن أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف. Respected scholars, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Before we begin today's talk, just a couple of things. First of all, I would like to honor and commemorate Brother Muhammad Moti's uncle who passed away recently, Marhum Rizwan Ramji, and all our marhumin, all those who have dearly departed, because it's easy to forget sometimes that the month of Ramadan is the month of the Ummah, and those who have departed from us are still part of the Ummah. So please join me in reciting a Surah Fatiha in their remembrance. Secondly, I would like to thank the respected sister for the Quranic reflection. It touched me very deeply, and it has been a part of what we've been talking about, in that when we made that covenant with God, it was with the understanding that it's God who carries the burdens. It is God who holds us in His mercy. It is God who takes us forward. It is God who is with us in our trials and in our triumphs. So, Jazakumullah khair, inshallah. And finally, a vote of thanks to all of you for tolerating and putting up with me for the last 3 nights. Today, interesting, today's program is before Maghrib. The first 2 were after Maghrib, so that led to some heaviness. Today, the challenge is everybody's hungry and thirsty. So we'll see, inshallah, how that lands with everybody. Maybe the meditation might actually put you to sleep this time. But seriously, thank you very much. A heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you for indulging me. And a very, very, very special thanks to the organizers at Time for Change for the privilege of being able to stand in front of you and to present some ideas and share some discussion with you, so that inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts from us, and also we continue on in our very human journeys, allowing Him to form us. So thank you very much, each and every one of you. Please recite a salawat. And now on to the challenging part, meditation in hunger and thirst. So, as we have done, right? Every night we make a niyyah, we make an intention of what the purpose of our guided meditation is going to be. Today, what I would like you to do is under your voice, whisper to yourself that tonight the intention is not to hype Ramadan. The intention is to enter and to be within it gently, truthfully, and with space. So again, tonight the intention is not to hype Ramadan. The intention is to gently enter it gently, truthfully, and with space. So I invite you to sit with dignity, but without tension, hands resting, open, whatever makes you feel comfortable. And as you get into a comfortable position, I invite you to close your eyes. Close your eyes or soften your gaze, whichever is easy for you. And I want you to focus on your breathing. Inhale through the nose, exhale from the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale from the mouth. And just allow yourself to breathe and to become one with your breathing. And as you're doing that, allow your jaw to soften, your shoulders to relax, and the rest of you to get into a relaxed and meditative state. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Quietly notice within yourself, turning to your heart. How have you arrived in the month of Ramadan? And how are you in the month of Ramadan? How are you feeling? Not what you want to feel or what you think you should feel in the month of Ramadan, but what are you actually feeling and bringing in with you today? What is actually there? Is it hope? Is it pressure? Is it fatigue? Is it longing? Is it a fear of failing? Is it eagerness or anxiety? Take a moment to really feel and to identify what you're feeling. Give it a name. Perhaps it shows up as an image. Don't do anything with it. Just allow it to be present. Allow it to be present without any judgment whatsoever. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, out through the mouth. And as you're identifying that, I want to invite you to allow any and all comparisons to fall away. Comparisons to your family, comparisons to friends, comparisons to community, wherever comparisons might lie, allow that to fall away from your being. Release it. As you inhale, recognize what the comparisons are, and as you exhale, allow those comparisons to leave your body. You are not entering anyone else's month of Ramadan. You are entering your own month of Ramadan, your own special return to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as you allow that to fall away, and continue to focus on your breathing, I invite you to hold two truths together within yourself. Both of them, not one or the other. The first truth is that your devotion and worship rises towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second one is that that devotion also flows outward towards His servants. So again, two truths I invite you to hold. One, that your devotion and worship rises to the divine. And the second truth is that your devotion and worship flows outwards to Allah's servants. Let these two truths to sit side by side without competing one another. Just allow them to sit. And finally, I invite you to turn your mind's eye towards the divine, whether that is up, whether that is down, whether it's to the side, or whether you feel it within you. And I want you to say to yourself through your mind's eye, "Oh Allah, let this month be a month of sincerity. Oh Allah, let this month be a month of sincerity. Let our worship to soften us. Let our worship to soften us. Let our fasting refine our speech and our conduct. Let our fasting refine our speech and our conduct. Let our hearts to remain open. Let our hearts to remain open to you in their entirety, upwards and horizontal." And I want you to pay attention to your breathing again. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. And whenever you're ready, no rush, allow yourself to open your eyes and bring yourself into the presence of our most beautiful gathering. Please recite a salat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So my dearest friends, as we conclude the lecture series for this month, over these last 3 nights, we have been walking through what I like to call, and what has come to be known as, the spiritual quarter of the year. The month of Rajab, the month of Sha'ban, and now we find ourselves in the beautiful presence of the blessed month of Ramadan. Rajab taught us that we are held in the hand of mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sha'ban taught our hearts that we are not alone, but rather we are accompanied by the essence and the existence of His greatest messenger and our most beloved, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. And now, the month of Ramadan asks us, can we live with what we have received in these 2 months? Can we actualize can we actualize and live with that mercy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us in this month. Because Ramadan, the month of Ramadan, is not only a month of private worship, it is also a month where our worship becomes embodied, an opportunity for it to become actualized. How we treat people, how we speak, and how we carry our responsibilities to the ummah. Now, all of these that I've shared with you have two dimensions. How we treat people. We understand how we treat people externally, but it's also inward. How do we treat ourselves? Are we hard on ourselves? Are we overly critical of ourselves? Do we love ourselves or do we hate ourselves? In how we speak with each other on the outside, but also the conversation going on internally. How do we speak to ourselves? Are we kind to ourselves? Are we merciful to ourselves? Do we hold ourselves to account in a healthy way, or is it self-hatred? And carry out our responsibilities to the ummah. Again, carrying out our responsibilities to the ummah in the external, but we also are members of the ummah, and we also have an ummah inside of us. Are we fulfilling our responsibilities to the internal ummah as well? I want to share a sentence with you that I believe will carry the whole month. The month of Ramadan is where the love for Allah rises in worship and overflows into the care for His servants. Not worship instead of people, and not people instead of worship, but the two together, culminating in the vertical and the horizontal axis of worship. And to explain what I mean by vertical and horizontal, briefly, we have the verse in the Holy Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I have not created humans and jinn except to worship me. Except to worship me. Now, what is this worship? Many times it's easy to fall into the mindset that worship is a narrow set of ritual practices that we carry out, and that is our worship. But worship is much more than that. Worship is not only our relationship with the divine, and that is the vertical axis, which is comprised of most of our ritual worship, our private conversations and munajat with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is the vertical worship. But there is also the horizontal worship. Meaning what? Meaning what is our behavior and how do we act with the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Do we keep family relations? Are we kind to one another? Are we generous to one another? Do we hold space for one another? Do we treat each other with dignity? And also even the environment. How do we behave with the environment that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with? This is the horizontal plane, which is also worship. So whether it's the vertical plane, whether it's the horizontal plane, it all comes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As we are in the month of Ramadan, many times we have heard this verse, we heard it today, and we'll keep hearing this verse, which is the anchor for the month, which is what? O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed for you, as it was prescribed for those before you, so that you may become or attain God consciousness, taqwa. Notice, the Quran does not say so that you can be hungry, or you can be thirsty, or you can be rigid or perfect. It says so that you may become God conscious, attain taqwa. And this taqwa does not only happen in the masjid. Taqwa shows up in our homes, it shows up in our speech, it shows up in conflict, it shows up in patience, it shows up in our healing, and it shows up in our repair. An example, and a very real example. For most of us, the first place the month of Ramadan is tested isn't in the masjid and in our gatherings. It is in our homes. It's when we are hungry, it's when we are tired, it's when we are sleep deprived. And either someone says a small thing or a small thing happens and the nafs flares up. It flares up, right? And in that moment, we realize fasting is not only about leaving food and drink. It's about making the choice to act on reflex and reaction or to respond meaningfully. When taqwa is present, the latter happens. When taqwa is low, the former happens. It's easy to fast and still be sharp-tongued. It's easy to pray and still wound people. So the month of Ramadan exposes the real question. Does worship soften me, or do I use worship to feel superior while remaining absolutely the same? And this is why taqwa is the goal, not hunger. Taqwa is what shows up in our tone, in our patience, in our gentleness, and in our repair. And perhaps one of the causes of this is the immense pressure that we feel as we enter the month, right? And this is a kind of trap as we enter the month of Ramadan. We enter with pressure. We turn the month into measurement, right? How am I doing? How many adhkar did I recite? How many pages of Quran did I read? How many adiyah I recited? So on and so forth. Which then turns us to self-monitor, self-critical, and become tense. So of course, as we enter the month, right? Stack it together now. We enter the month, we are already tense and filled with pressure entering the month. Stack the absence of food and hunger on top of that. It can become a recipe for disaster. And that tension that we feel then begins to spill outwards. And what happens? We perhaps become harsher with our families, shorter in patience, sharper in speech, and quick, and most importantly, quick to judge ourselves and to judge others. The month of Ramadan is not meant to make us harder. It is meant to provide us with clarity and to make us softer and kinder. And this is why the integration of what Rajab and Sha'ban offered to us is important as we enter and find ourselves in these early days of Ramadan to carry us through, right? And this is precisely why Rajab and Sha'ban are a mercy. One is, as we said, is direct mercy from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the second mercy is to give that mercy a form, a human form that we can relate to in the form of the Messenger of God. Rajab protected us from the misconception that God only receives the improved and finished version of ourselves. Rather, it taught us that we are held as we are, and that He is with us from the beginning until the end of that journey. Sha'ban protected us from the misconception that faith lies in theatrics, right? It taught us, theatrics I mean, that faith is not performed. Faith is something felt. It taught us that companionship, specifically the companionship we are craving for and looking for, and that mercy has a human face. And that face, again, is none other than the blessed messenger of God. And that we are not walking alone, but constantly always in His companionship. So the month of Ramadan is not entered with the need to prove ourselves. Rather, it is entered with the desire to be formed and to be reformed by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And formation, or that forming of us, is not only found in worship, but it is the ripple effect and the actualization of how that worship transforms us, both internally and how we find ourselves within the creation of God. If you want to see one of the most beautiful examples in this blessed month that synthesizes the vertical and the horizontal plane of worship. Look no further than the famous dua that is recited every night after salah. Which one? Allahumma adkhil ala ahlil kubur surur. Right? That devotional tradition integrates the horizontal and vertical. Okay? It begins by first calling upon Allah. Allahumma, and immediately shifts outwards towards creation. O Allah, bring joy to the people of the graves. Again, as we mentioned earlier, it's easy to forget that even the people of the graves are also part of our ummah. And they persist as being part of our ummah. O Allah, enrich every poor person. Vertical, O Allah, enrich every poor person. O Allah, feed every hungry one. O Allah, vertical, horizontal, feed every hungry one. O Allah, clothe every unclothed one. O Allah, relieve every distressed one. O Allah, return every stranger. O Allah, free every captive. Look at what this dua is doing. It doesn't let worship remain private. It doesn't let spirituality become isolated self-improvement. It teaches us that closeness to Allah naturally expands the heart outwardly towards His creation. And then it turns back inwards. Not as narcissism, but as integrity. O Allah, fill our poverty with your richness. Change our state by your beautiful state. Settle our debts and enrich us from poverty. Again, we also are part of the ummah. We are part of the external ummah, and we have that ummah inside of us. So again, calling on Allah, the vertical, and outward. Enrich us. Change our state. It's not just fix the world, but it's also fix me. And even fix me I don't like. Shape me, Allah. Reform me. So I do not only become part of the harm, but you give me the tawfiq to also become part of the solution for myself and for your creation. Yani Allah, entrust me with guidance, entrust me with your mercy, so that you may use me as a tool for improvement for myself and improvement for your creation. And then the dua puts the seal of tawheed and trust. Indeed, you have power over all things. This Ramadan in one dua, a heart turned upward in reliance, outward with mercy, inward with reform. So when we say that the month of Ramadan is the month of the ummah, this is what we mean. Worship that rises towards Allah and then overflows into care for people, until even our dua becomes communal and not just personal. Please recite a salawat. So on the first night, we offered up one practical advice. The second night, we offered up 2 practical advices. And here on the third night, it won't be 3 practical advices, but 3 commitments. 3 commitments that we strive to make so that we may move forward. And I want to give these 3 commitments for the first 10 days so we can carry it forward. They're not goals, commitments. There's a difference. Commitment number 1, one private act. Just one private act, which is in the vertical. Choose one daily private act, which is small but sincere. 2 minutes, one dua, a page of Quran with presence, a few moments of istighfar. Nothing heroic, just authentic and real. Number 2, one relational refinement, which is what? Horizontal. Choose one relationship where the month of Ramadan will show up for you. A gentler tone, fewer sharp words, quick repair, an apology where needed, and the one perhaps that is the most profound, more listening. More listening to those around us who need a shoulder, who need an ear. Just listen. We don't have to do anything. The most powerful thing we can offer sometimes to those of us who are suffering is just be there to listen and to provide them a kind word. And the third one act of mercy towards the ummah, which is the overflow. Choose one weekly act that makes someone else's life easier. A quiet charity, a visit, sharing a meal, checking in on someone forgotten, right? It's very easy in this digital age that in some ways makes our world small, but has also scattered us immensely. And sometimes someone might go missing and we don't realize, or sometimes we might be thinking of someone and we think, okay, you know what, I want to reach out. And I tell you, in most cases, they're probably thinking of us as well too, because the souls are connected. Take that action, reach out to someone, ask them, how are you doing? I was thinking of you today, right? Or the last thing, helping to ease someone's burden. Not by grandiose gestures. Like I said, even just sitting and listening to someone is helping to ease their burden. This is how our worship transforms into care. Care for ourselves and care for Allah's creation. If we want one question to carry in this month, it is this. When Ramadan ends, will the people around me feel that I have worshipped? Not by show, and not because I told them, but because I became gentler, I became fairer, more patient, and more present. Because the clearest proof that love for Allah rose in worship is that it overflowed into mercy with His creation. And so we enter the month of Ramadan, and we stay in the month of Ramadan, held by Allah, accompanied by His greatest messenger, and responsible to the ummah. Not with panic, not with performance, but with sincerity and with space. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وصلى الله على محمد وآل محمد والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Thank you so much, Shaykh, for accepting our invitation and sharing your knowledge and wisdom with us over the past few days. We really appreciate it. I'm going to quickly do the announcements because I know Mohamed's in like a few minutes. So the posters for next week's program will be out tomorrow. Please register by Thursday, 26 February, if you're attending for iftar, to help us with catering and so we can avoid food waste. If you would like to contribute towards Ramadan programs and events, you can do so at the desk by cash or card, or use the QR code or the link on the group. This Ramadan, Time for Change is supporting Kijana Kwanzaa and the amazing work they do in Tanzania for young children. You can see more details on the WhatsApp group. Please do donate generously in this blessed month. Can we please recite Isra al-Fatiha for all the marhumin whose names are on the screen, and all marhumin al-Fatiha. Did it come on? Iftar will be served in the dining room at the end of the corridor after Maghrib. As usual, we request your cooperation in filling all the tables up and helping by clearing your table after Iftar. Isha Salah will be at 7 p.m. back here in the chapel. Thank you, and if we can prepare for Salah now.